got a wild one today, folks. We got Democrats hating America. We got Democrats running away. We got Democrats on Epstein. We got Democrats getting subpoenaed. We got the full rundown going on today. So we're going to talk about Democrats hating America, as you can see here. We're going to talk about Democrats claiming racism regarding gerrymandering. We're going to talk about the Epstein client list potentially getting exposed. We're going to talk about the Clintons. Yes, Hillary is getting called up and subpoenaed by a House panel to be able to testify. Interesting. Interesting. With that, let's talk about number one's everybody's top group that hates America. Generally, anybody associated with the squad, anybody that claims themselves to be a socialist, anybody that's a Marxist, anybody waving any flag other than America. It's that simple. If you're not waving the American flag, get out. Remember when the president of Mexico came out and openly stated that illegal immigrants here in the United States are her citizens? Yeah. Well, not only are just those illegals their citizens, but also we have representatives here in the United States openly stating that they are their country, their home country first, American second. If that is the case, you are not representing your American citizens here. You are not representing America. You should be ousted immediately and kicked out of the country. This is misrepresentation of your actual constituents. This should be a crime. Delia Ramirez at Summit in Mexico City this weekend tells audience while speaking Spanish, because again, she's an idiot and she thinks nobody's going to see this in America, and even if they do, they don't know Spanish. I'm a proud Guatemalan before I'm an American. Yeah, wonderful. Go back to Guatemala. Not only that, but there's also Ilhan Omar and other Somalis. I sleep in comfort knowing that I am here to protect the interests of Somalia from inside the U.S. system. She's not the only one. Rashida Tlaib is another one that makes similar statements. Of course, hers are more terrorist-oriented, you know. Why do we allow this? We have groups inside the United States that refuse to assimilate and respect the country they actually live in, love the country they actually live in. Get them out. If you are something first, I'm a Mex-American. No. You're an American or you're a Mexican. You're not both. I don't care about your heritage. If you're here in America, you're an American. America is your heritage. That's the beauty of America. You can look at anybody here and they could be an American. You can look at a black man, white man, Hispanic man, Indian man, Asian man. You look at them. Oh, well, but we're here in America. I don't know if they're Chinese. I don't know if they're Nicaraguan. I don't know if they're Nigerian. That's right. That's the beauty of America, and you cannot say that about anywhere else in the world. We are a melting pot in the best way, unlike the Democrats who want to create little fiefdoms of immigration and say, we're going to set up our own little system here. You don't have to assimilate. No, you are an American. If you're here in this country, you're an American. Don't like it? Fight me. Come on. Come on. Let's go. What is this getting toward? This right here. This right here. Ugandan socialism, because again, Zohan believes that he is probably a Ugandan first because his mommy is a socialist and has pretty much babied him his entire life. He's never had to work. And now he is probably going to be running New York. He's going to be running New York. And New York, I feel for you. If you live in New York, get out. But this is what happens when you get people who hate America, who hate the American system, and don't believe in America, who aren't American. And they're going to be running sections of this country, impacting millions of Americans, not representing America. But this is a great headline. And all these bleed into it. I hope you're noticing this. First up, showing how much they hate America, then showing what new type of representation we're going to be seeing as far as socialism, Marxism, commies. And then now, look at this. African American meets Native American. That's right. That's right. Pocahontas is meeting this Ugandan here. What is interesting to note, and New York Post really gets this headline fantastically. Just soak that lovely headline in. This is your new Democratic Party, and this is what I've been pointing to for weeks now. Go back and look up some of my other streams regarding Zohan specifically. There is a split happening in the Democratic Party where you are seeing Democrats now boldly take off the mask they've been wearing for decades now, that they are representative of Marxist values. They are socialists. They are Marxists. They are not Democrats of yore. They are Marxists. They do not represent America. They represent totalitarian control via committee. These people are asinine, disgusting, belligerent, and they need to be kicked out of the country. I want to bring back McCarthyism. These people need to be tattooed a star on their forehead or a commie sickle on their forehead and kick them out of the country. They don't belong here. Disgusting. And like all commies, they act like petulant children. So for those who are unaware what's happening in Texas, Texas is controlled by Republicans, and they are now redistricting. When Republicans do it, the left calls it gerrymandering. They call it racism. And when Republicans, they don't put up a fight when the liberals do it. They just say, oh, that's not fair, that's disgusting. They don't cry like little babies and get upset. Well, the Democrats in Texas, because they're losing, because Texas is red, Texas is like, you know what? We're going to redistrict. We're going to grab a few more seats. Why? Because we can, and we need to keep it red right now because we've got a lot of dumb blue hair people who have moved from California, New York, and Colorado, and the Northwest, and like, you know what? We need to make sure these people understand we're not going to have these policies destroying Texas because we know what they're going to vote like, and we need to make sure that red stays in and we keep Texas running strong. So the blue hairs decided that, you know what, why don't we just leave? Because if we can't have a quorum, what's a quorum, Mouthy? A quorum is when you have an appropriate amount of representation for a group to be able to vote, to be able to make decisions. And so these people left because it's not fair if you've got 100 representatives and half of them leave and then the other half are the ones that are going to be voting for everything. It's not right. So there's rules to prevent that. So they literally left like little crybaby children to then prevent a vote on this redistricting plan because they know they're going to lose. And they're trying to scream racism. Thankfully, Kim Paxton has pretty much called for them to be arrested. But these horrible people are mocking Texas, saying that you can't do anything here. We're in a different state. You're right. The Texas Marshals do not have jurisdiction in Illinois. No, they don't. But you know who does? The U.S. Marshals do. The FBI does. And I'm hoping Paxton and Abbott, the governor of Texas, are already reaching out to Trump and saying, can you help us here get these people arrested and oust them from their seats? Yeah. I hope that happens. Trump, I know you're not watching me, but if you hear about this, send the U.S. Marshals out there. Have them go get these people arrested and brought back to Texas for justice. And for you people not understanding about gerrymandering and what's going on, let me show you what this looks like. So Illinois right now is housing some of these illegal Texans. And they flew them for free to get away from there and get them out of the state. And what's happening is, again, they're calling racism down in Texas, but the left does this horrendously so. Horrendously so. Gavin Newsom is fighting his own citizens who vote on a referendum to say we want an independent body to do districting. So even California blue hairs look at the gerrymandering that's going on in California by the Democrats and say this is wrong, this is disgusting, it needs to stop. And they want an independent body to do it. They voted for that. The citizens voted for it in a referendum on the actual ballots. Newsom is so upset on that, he is now doing a new referendum coming up in 2026, specifically trying to word it in such a way, this is leaked from his campaign group, that when they vote, it seems like they're voting for something good, but really they're moving that independent body that's going to do the redistricting and move it under the governorship. Yes, that is how bad the Democrats are on racism gerrymandering. It's disgusting. And not only that, the top blue states that do this stuff, look at this. So just to show you how bad these blue states are, we all know California, Illinois are blue. We know Texas and Florida are red. Look at the representation regarding districting. It is a fourfold change in California when we know the country is about half and half. Illinois, again, almost 5 times here. Okay. And for contrast, 2 times, little less than 2 times in Florida. Nowhere near the type of shenanigans going on in the blue states. And again, if you don't believe me, just look at the maps. Look at this. Look at this. They even do it to themselves in somewhere like Chicago, where when they carve out little niches of race-based politics. Explain it to me. You can't. Now, in contrast, let's look at Florida. Seems pretty cut and dry there. Yeah. Pretty cut and dry. You don't see any of the shenanigans going on over in Miami-Dade or anything of that nature, even though they're absolutely disgusting people over there. You can't explain it, can you? No, because Democrats are communist, totalitarian S-bags. I'm sure you guys have heard about this. I want to touch on this for just a moment and call up something way more pertinent that is not being discussed. Where are my arrests? The DOJ has asked the judges to unseal 5 days of Epstein and Maxwell grand jury testimony. A lot of people are excited about this. Don't. Bondi makes it very clear we're not going to get anything new. Bondi and the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Jay Clayton, wrote on August 4th for the records to be unsealed. DOJ officials want to compare grand jury exhibits against the voluminous public and sealed exhibits offered at the Maxwell trial. Bondi and Clayton also want to review certain relevant civil litigation dockets, of which the government is aware to the extent such dockets are publicly available. So in other words, showing the public that there's not a lot new is what my guess is. They know that details provided during the grand jury testimonies against Epstein and Maxwell have already been made public. The enclosed annotated transcripts show that much of the information provided during the course of the grand jury testimony, with the exception of the identities of victims and witnesses, was made publicly available at trial or has otherwise been publicly reported through public statements of victims and witnesses. Again, don't get excited here. However, this is what you should be excited about. This is what is going to be very interesting. The question now is, regarding these subpoenas that just came out yesterday, are these subpoenas going to matter in the sense that we're actually going to be able to hear these? Because these are probably going to be closed-doored. We're not going to hear what's going on. Will they be released? Bill Barr, interesting one. Undermined the Trump DOJ. I know. He was the Trump DOJ, accused of fraud and formulating RICO case against Trump. Oh, I'm sorry. You guys didn't hear that? You guys didn't hear that? We'll go into that in just one moment. Alberto Gonzalez suppressed findings in the Mueller report. Yup. Jeff Sessions, politicization of the DOJ. Yup. Mueller, not exonerating Trump early in the investigation when able to conclude no collusion. Loretta Lynch, AG, covered up Crossfire Hurricane, covered up the hack server email probe under Clinton. Remember, it's been rumored that there are emails, specifically in communications, that cite that Obama was noted in some of those emails, and now it's coming out even Soros knew about the plot in Crossfire Hurricane. Eric Holder covered up Crossfire Hurricane, covered up hack server email probe. He was before Loretta Lynch. James Comey, Crossfire Hurricane. He's one of the main ones. He helped launder the Steele dossier, covered up the hack server and email probe. He didn't prosecute Clinton. Hillary Clinton, the Steele dossier, hack server, Crossfire Hurricane. Bill Clinton, Steele dossier, hack server, Crossfire Hurricane. And Epstein? Maybe. For those that are not aware, it has just came out yesterday. Whistleblower, former Attorney General Bill Barr and Armstrong Williams run illegal immigration visa fraud scheme. Whistleblower has come out with evidence showcasing that Bill Barr ran an illegal visa fraud operation in which he got visas for people overseas to set up fake companies to then launder money. Where did the money go, Bill Barr? Where did the money go? Not only that, she is also claiming that Bill Barr is the formulation and mastermind behind the RICO case that is being utilized to prosecute Trump. He is an evil, evil man if this turns out to be. I mean, she showcases some of the evidence. So the immigration fraud stuff, that looks very legit from what she's showcasing here on Veritas. If you're not familiar with Veritas, go get familiar. Veritas is an undercover investigation reporting group. They do whistleblower stuff. Definitely go check this out. For those of you that are very astute, you may have noticed, where's Brennan and Clapper? Brennan and Clapper were not in those pieces. Why were they not in those pieces? My bet is probably because those are the ones that are going to be holding the bag when all this drops. I told you none's going to happen to Obama. The worst that's going to happen to Obama is they might bring him forward to ask for some questions. Hillary Clinton we're probably not going to get, but should. I was hoping we might get Comey, but it's looking like they're leaving Brennan and Clapper out because they're the ones they're going to focus on to go to prison. So Brennan and Clapper, you guys probably are looking to update your passports, try to see what money you can get out of your bank account, and yeah, I'm sure you guys are doing something like that. And just remember, we do have additional whistleblowers coming out that confirm that Barack Obama and the former CIA director Brennan orchestrated the Russia hoax and then hid it in a CIA vault for nearly a decade. More stuff is coming out. Again, when Tulsi Gabbard released this stuff, she said there were whistleblowers that were still coming forward. Now the stuff had been released. So I don't think Obama's going to get it, but maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But again, want to leave you on some good news there. Going to be interesting to see how these subpoenas go. I doubt it's going to be open, guys. It's going to be closed door, but that's Mouthy. I'm going to leave you, man.